Join me. Imagine what we could accomplish together.
I'll join the team, be an X-Man.
We are the future, Charles, not them.
What do you think, I'm stupid?
You and I are not so different.
You can't keep denying what you are, man.
Because I'm the best there is at what I do.
You, me, we're exceptional. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand. I chose my path, you chose the way of the hero.
Plague, war, famine, morality doesn't even enter into it.
I've heard these arguments before.
Think about it, hero!
You are watching
Move, Throw.
Marvel Crisis Protocol Podcast.
I am Charles, also known as Omnis.
I am Danny, also known as Irish Smart Like Rock.
And we are back with more Errata upon thee.
Yes. Back with a vengeance, or back curiosity, back with, so many fun
Back to the
conversations.
future.
Back to the future is a good one.
Yeah.
Back to reality,
First off, I'll just say the last episode did very well overall and was actually getting a lot of interaction on YouTube. And I was very happy with how it looked, like with the cards in our pictures and stuff. Yeah.
So we can talk about things.
Worth the effort. Yeah, I did want to say, because Nigel from Views on Minis has been like, you guys should still talk about nerfs. And it wasn't that we weren't eventually going to talk about them. It was just the first episode, we're like, well, Alfredo's had already dropped a bunch of stuff, and they talked very heavily about a lot of the kind of potentially negative perspective changes. I was like, let's lean on the stuff that we're excited about to start, because we gotta pick something to bracket this a little bit, but we're gonna get to all of it.
Yes.
Do you have any pre-game thoughts before we start going into the characters that we want to talk about this week?
Pre-game thoughts.
Corrections from last week.
Corrections. First off, never correct what I say.
Angela's fucking busted, is what I'm starting to hear.
I think she's good. She's still a glass cannon and can just randomly explode if you overly extend her. You can just whiff, right? There aren't a ton of rerolls and affiliations, so she needs support. She's going to do well. She does. I can see her doing very well in Guardians. Right, you get the innate rerollable offensively, defensively. You have a lot of characters that have range attacks, so they can support her or back her up depending on like what's going on in the board state. So she plays differently depending on the faction, which she should, right? Like models should play differently to affiliations.
All right. Well, we have already talked about Angela, but just was like hearing great things to things is kind of like some of the mix that I was starting to absorb, but whatevs. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna start us off this week, and I want to talk about Zemo 1.
Okay.
OG Zemo changes. Right, because obviously Zemo, it's nerfs, right? Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is worse. Master Swordman costs one more, right? He lost strategic genius and now just has some insight, which is kind of a, it's still, aura bubble, but, you get to, you basically you have to pay one and it's only once per turn, but you still can get that offensive or defensive reroll for him or herself, but it now costs. But flip side, he did gain a health on the front.
That's very true.
Overall, I think we're going to probably take a small break from him just because people are kind of sick of him, but the boy is still a long move charge character with good attacks. I think he's still in the upper tier of threes, right? Like all said and done, like he's probably not the best anymore, but I think you're going to be very happy to play him when he's an affiliated 3, and there will just be times where you want him as your splash 3, because he's a long move, solid attacks. He can still potentially hand out a few key rerolls and things. You're going to have to be more selective. He's probably going to be more fun to play, right? 'Cause you're going to have more active decisions. But what do you think, Danny?
I'm a little sad in the sense that it's like the double nerf to Master Swordsman, where it goes up in cost and it's only once per turn now. Yeah. I'm like, it it just makes me a little sad 'cause I feel like at that point, you're probably not really going to use Master Swordsman because at that point, you're really just saving the power of Tactical Genius, like to help yourself and help other people out and to have the charge online for you to keep going and pushing through. Which isn't terrible. I think it just sort of like changes his damage potential. But especially in affiliations where he's like native, like he's still a very good 3-threat running around doing things. He's able to like support other models. Like he still has a role going through.
Yeah, and I think in general, like he was doing more damage than most 4-threats, so it was definitely justified. But that doesn't mean that he's a bad pick for your team. No. And I still really like how I did my basing on my Zemo. He's a long mover. The 6 health on the front is going to like take away some of those most negative games with him and maybe more opportunities where you may actually counterstrike someone. Yeah, I think Zemo is still good. He's just not like amazing anymore.
I mean, I'm a Baron, right? Yep. Like it's still an amazing card. You still have like opens on round 2. You can still charge round 1. You just have different things to do, right, with him. You just can't expect like, shooting for the moon, I guess you could say.
Yeah. We might find that he sees more play in the affiliations who really can spare the card. Like maybe I don't play him in X-Men because I'm really tight on cards, but Winter Guard's got Omega Red in it. And so that affiliation doesn't have a bunch of crazy tactics cards. So Zemo could be a really interesting pick there, as just like a solid, effective 3.
With Cap 1, you basically get it for free. Like if you have a power on you, you're just like giving rerolls and tossing stuff out as you go along. And so like that's like a fun interaction, right?
I think Zemo good under Cap 1. News at 11. No change there. I think Zemo's totally fine. This is where I think nerfs are really well designed, where you're like, okay, we brought down the top, but probably still sees some competitive play, but is just more of like is this the right piece for this specific list instead of always feeling like the right piece, which I think is kind of a perfect territory for a nerf.
I think still a very competitive model, very competitive in its slots, especially in affiliation. But you would not see it as ubiquitous as it was before, which is kind of the goal with models, right? And trying to have a better spread of things across.
All right. Which one do you want to do next?
Where do I want to go next? I mean, like, you're in Cabal land with Zemo, right? And the person I want to talk to in Cabal, or about in Cabal, is actually Kang.
Interesting.
I think Kang is very,
what
very
even changed on
right
Kang?
Now. I think Kang got more health, because he's like an 7. Like 15 health is a lot, right? For 6 health. Or 6 threat. But I think what becomes more interesting is that everyone having more health with him is the fact that all his conditions matter more. Because people tend to stay on their front side longer. Okay. So he's pushing out way more conditions throughout the game, and it matters a lot more for him comparatively to everyone else. And the skulls thing is going to matter a lot over the course of the game. Like unlocking skulls, this is going back to like the Zemo reroll and everything, right? Like it changes a lot of your dice curve in terms of doing damage. And I think his energy attacks are amazing, right? So it's all about just like putting out that AoE and just trying to get as many shocks and stuns as like completely new to the opponent's list, and then have the rest of the list run around and do things.
He did lose his easiest access to rerolls, right? Like having Zemo 1's strategic genius does hurt the Kang list, but I don't know what to expect from Kang.
Yes. I think he's a very interesting Cabal leader right now, because before people were dying too quickly. And it was like, oh, his damage profile doesn't keep it up because he's not killing fast enough. Like, well, you're not in it for him killing stuff. You're in it for him essentially rendering the opponent's list invalid. Right? Shocks and stuns across the board, especially when you talk about source extracts.
To you.
When you talk about pay to flips, like it's going to be very hard for your opponent to be generating power now. And you're going, okay, well, I'm just going to score everything and I'll just selectively beat up your list. And the rest of your list, what do you do? Start like shaking the rest of the turn? Like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And so I think this whole damage profile changes a lot of what you can do with Cabal, because Cabal has a lot of very interesting characters. It's the other like grab bag affiliation. There's a lot of models in Cabal. You start stacking different sources of conditions, and it's going to start getting really crazy. Zemo still works because of bleed. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
it'll be interesting. I mean, I'll admit, King's not on my short list of things that I'm excited about, but I can see why you do like tormenting your opponents a little bit. So I can see why this is appealing to you. Okay, I do want to, I think this is, Mr. Sinister's in Cabal, right? I'm not.
Sinister is in Cabal.
Yeah, that's what I thought. This is one of the guys that I just don't know if I'm excited about him yet. You know, it's like you go on a date and you're just like, there wasn't anything wrong with this date, but there also wasn't, you know, anything like super exciting. And you're just like, I feel like I should go again because I'm not sure that's kind of how I feel about Mr. Sinister right now, where I'm looking at him. And so if you haven't read the errata or you're just like absorbing it from us, he lost his builder, but his beam became 0 cost and it's not quite a gainer. It's just like automatic 1 power no matter how many attacks you make. And he gets 1 token afterwards instead of a token per. And he starts with a sample token now. Yeah. And the most interesting thing I think about him right now in my brain, besides being 7/7 health now, in starting with the token is, so compared to say something like Omega Red, which similar profile, like relatively tanky character, has some damage reduction, has a good displacement ability, and then like okay attacks, right?
Yes.
But you got to realize that with Mr. Sinister, if he, late in a round, goes up, beams, gets another token, beams the next round and is on like 3 tokens, you go to attack him, he can spend all 3 tokens on 1 attack, right? Is something that like maybe Omega Red or someone like that involves more damage over the course of the game than Mr. Sinister can, but Mr. Sinister can do it in a bulk. He can practically like, exceptional healing, right? Or Xavier's Dream, right? Like he kind of has that innate within himself to just do over the course of a game. And that can be a really big deal, especially if he's your last dude, right? And it's like, you got to kill Mr. Sinister to win. And he's got 3 tokens on him. That's a big potential reduction in damage. And I don't know, he's interesting. There's just so many 4s I want to play. I don't know if I'm excited about him or not. Does that make sense?
Yes. I mean, he goes to a 7/7, which is a lot of health, right? For a 4/3.
Yes.
He's a 3/3/4. So what I find interesting about him is that there are not that many beam 4s in the game. Mystic beam 4s are, I don't know anyone else actually has a mystic beam 4. Maybe like changing typing, right? But the token, what I like about it is the root. He basically has a guaranteed, if you use the beam, you get the power, you get the token, you can automatically root someone that's within 3 of you. That's like, you just can't prevent that from happening. And I find that very interesting for his play pattern because he's basically selectively shutting down people throughout the list. And I really like that spender, right? The other thing that we kind of skipped over is the fact that he gets power when he rolls crits, so he gets like scientific genius thing.
Yes, that's new as well.
And I think you're actually building very quickly for that spender. You spend a token, it goes to 8 dice.
I want to bow characters a lot.
It can explode. Like it's just kind of crazy.
Sorry, when I say bow, I mean spend 2 power, advance a character short, because the first one was on MODOK, and so I call all of them bow. That needs a generic name. But I think you still probably use that a lot. Like beam, and then like bow and root someone is pretty bullshit.
Yes, he just has if you're spending tokens, it's getting more dice. And so it goes 6 to 8 dice. You can gain more tokens. You start exploding. Like he can start killing models very quickly. Like he's a character who can wake up and go like, okay, you all die now. Like goodbye. It doesn't matter what's happening anymore. So I find him a very interesting character to play. To your point, like his issue is he has no active compression. Like he's got just kind of walking around. He grabs a token and then he's beaming and kind of standing around. His goal is basically to hold like an extract and a secure and start fighting his way through everything. But he doesn't really seem like a great duelist.
Yeah. He could be like really featured in like an apocalypse list now. Like I don't know what apocalypse looks like now, but him as a famine, right, where he does have action economy, right, and like can move to a bit different position, bow someone into range so that he can beam a whole bunch of characters. You know, there's interesting room for Mr. Sinister, and he's right on the cusp of me being excited about him, but there's just too many fours to play, Danny. Too many fours.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I think, and kind of think about this together, you're using the beam and you're not getting power like a gainer. You're fishing for crits, try to gain power that way. And you probably are trying to bow. You're probably trying to bow every round. Right? So you're basically trying to like either bow to get someone in range to have like a triple beam, right? Getting 3 characters, or you're using it to get a secure at the end. You're like, okay, like either way, it's like a fun little mini game you get to play with them.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be interesting. All right. Well, who do you want to talk about next?
Who do we want to talk about next?
Who do you want to talk about?
Well, a little
always
bit
have
of
to
the
be what I
Asgard
want.
side is actually like on this line of Cabal and Asgard is actually Loki won.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Loki won because he gained some health, right? He gained a health on both sides.
He did gain. He's now a 6. And the thing about Loki 1 that's very interesting is counting blanks for defensively, but also the trickster thing, right? Being able to run away is very interesting as a move for him throughout the game. So, I think
Danny, did you lose a light?
I did. As I was going
Yeah,
through and
you can turn it back on.
Yeah. Well,
But I do think Loki's really interesting. And with like some of the, you know, kind of power leaderships and stuff in check, it potentially makes Loki even stronger, right? Because all of the characters who, you know, might be, you know, there's just more situations, right, where I feel like characters might be a little strapped on power. So I do think he's an interesting shout. What's exciting about him for you?
he is a very good potential 4th threat for me to slot in. Yeah. The question is it's between him and Enchantress. They fill very similar roles.
That's right? Tough.
And I'm playing Thor 1, so I get Sibling Rivalry if I make this switch. Yeah. Which I really like this card. To be honest, I really like Sibling Rivalry. And I find this idea of annoying people a lot with Loki 1, because it's like, okay, do you deal with the problem child that is Loki 1 and like Thor running around doing his fun tricks, or do you ignore Loki? And I get to go like, okay, cool, well, I'm going to use the Count Blank to start beaming your team and start blowing everyone up.
There's also a world where, you know, he is if you go Space Stone on him, he's a safe grab.
Yes.
Do you have any consideration there about like whether you'd play him as a 4 or would you play him with space?
The problem with going to 5 is that I already have 3 5s. Like this is the Mighty Thor, Angela.
Yeah, I forgot about
going to 4 5s just feels like overboard. Like, there's no way that could actually work.
Yeah, you're trying to play Angela on that slot. Yeah, you probably keep him as a 4.
Yes. But I think he's a very efficient 4, right? Like relatively tough to kill, hard to double tap, right? Because the runaway, you tag on other abilities, he just escapes out, and how he feels like. So I think that is fun. And then 2, the fact that he scores 2 power, right, a turn isn't that common in the game. So there are a lot of source extracts. There's a lot of things. It's still 3/3/4. Like he's perfectly fine flipping right into a lot of affiliations. So I think he's fun and combos into a lot of abilities that people want to be coming in. They want to dive you. I was like, okay, well, Loki's here. It's not going to be that good of an attack you have going in.
You know, Loki, and not that people want to hear about defenders, right? But Loki might be an interesting pick in the Bill slot in defenders, right? To like kind of play the anti-defenders game, like say for a defender's mirror. Because we talked about it before that maybe you play Emma in that slot in the mirror. But I think Loki as a like, oh, this is going to be my character who plays in the 4 slot and goes and grabs an extract, right? The bubble can really mess things up for the opposing defenders team, right? Making all of those things cost more.
Yeah.
And man, does like it also, cause like a lot of time you're just like, oh, let me get over the hump and get Bill wounded. If you daze Loki, like,
hey.
that could be so bad for the characters who are over there, like, and how ineffective that they're going to be afterwards. Man, yeah, he could be a really interesting tech piece now. Yeah,
that's why I think like he's a fun piece where you can dive with him in certain lists.
Yeah.
And like, are you really going to be able to kill Loki? Like, I'm not sure.
Well, with so many more extracts that are a little closer, right, to the midline, that now a media mover could just walk over there, and you could create some really, like, awkward problems for people by, like, going, okay, Loki's going to immediately go grab the source extract on your side. And you're like, do you want to fight Loki?
Yeah, and the Loki bubble means that a lot of characters that pick up round 1 can't use their powers. They can't use 2-cost powers round 2 unless they start Gen 2 power in the beginning. So it's like, oh, you can't do your charges, you can't back away from me, you can't go web lines. Like, oh no, we're partying now.
He also, I mean, he could be kind of an interesting pick, maybe like as an X-Force 4. Not that they're like having problems with 4s, but also synergize it with 6 health. If you can give him defense dice, and so he's like, oh, I will get 2 more defense dice and count blanks, and like, it can make it really difficult to kill him when you want to, so you can make people overcommit to him. That could be interesting.
Well, this is what I'm thinking of because I'd be playing with Thor 1. And I was playing Wong with that list, right? And so I was playing at 19, and it's like Thor 1, my 3-4, so Fury, Bill, Enchantress, and Wong, which is a very fun list. And it's like, Enchantress did great, and Bill, I mean, I can't disrespect Bill, so Bill is always staying in. So it comes down to like who would make more sense for the list. Like, well, there's a legitimate argument for Loki in the list. And I think Loki's become a very interesting option in picking up that back health. Like, that 6 health in the back matters a lot because that's when he's the most annoying for your characters to get rid of.
Yes. And that is something that I've just been like noticing in general while I've, been looking at stuff. I'm like, how much do I care about the flip side health, right? Like how much is that like truly impactful? So he can play Giant's Blood.
Yeah.
Because it's named Loki. How do you say his last name? Lafayson?
Yeah.
Lafayson? Something like that. But that was why I pulled out my phone where I was like, ooh.
Yeah. He's a very interesting character.
Yeah. He can't play Trickster's Boon, but he can play Giant's Blood, which is super interesting.
Yeah. Giant's Blood is the more fun one because he saves himself and does the root and slow, I think. So, like, he becomes, like, he's a very interesting type. I said he can dive. You can do all sorts of weird stuff. Like, you pick up at, like, midway through round 1, he gets attacked. They're like, okay, we're going to walk in round 2, Giant's Blood walks away. He's like, I actually don't care about the extract. I just want to root and slow your guy, and now you're out of position. So, we'll just beat you up. It's cool.
Yeah, you can do some really interesting things there. Because let's say, like, if it's a source, right, you could Giant's Blood, like, the next turn, right? We were like, I wasn't activating him early. I wasn't going to pick it up. I'll just get the fuck out of here. Yeah, that could definitely be cool. I like that.
And depending where they land, it really screws up their positioning. Now they may be able to get to where they want to back up to, and it's like, oh, you're slowed, so it's just bad for you. Right? Now you got to deal with that later.
Yep.
Yeah, so Loki's very interesting piece right now as a tech.
All right, I'm going to switch it over. Something that Loki would probably enjoy: Sin. Sin, the Cabal leader. She gained 2 health on her front side, so she's now a 6/6 instead of a 4/6. And in addition to that, she also gained where you get to choose the order for her leadership. So it used to be the part that pushes people away from secures happens first, which then could make it so that they're not in range to drop extracts. Now you get to choose the order. And her kit was always good, right? She's an automatic rapid fire character who doesn't need to roll a hit or a wild. She just always gets to make 2 attacks. And she's a hit and run character. Like, her raw kit was always good. She just didn't live long enough to use it often enough. And her leadership just kind of felt anti-synergistic at times. You should be proud of me that I didn't say scornergy.
He did it anyway.
For the old War Machine guys. But I think so. I always like kind of dug her leadership. It was just frustrating when like it made itself not work. And I do think it's slightly worse in the era of sources, but it's very easy to build a Cabal list right now because there's a lot of good, and like the way that Cabal and Hydra just mix and match characters so commonly anyway, you could very easily play in a way where you can play Sin when you want to, right? And switch back and forth depending on like what the mission is. I think Sin could be really fun with this mission loadout and with the characters that she has access to right now in Cabal. I think we could be walking into a Sin meta. What do you think?
That leadership is so hit or miss for me, right? Because it's such a coin flip. But I think it gets more value out of the non-source extracts, right? Because people are holding tokens for them to drop for people to use. You still have like the displacement aspect, but really to get the most out of it, you want to roll more dice to have more chances to succeed since it's a coin flip, right? Does she work with the second crossbones, or is it only first crossbones still?
I believe it's both. I think it. I was just pulling up her card to double check something else. Yeah, it's Brock Romlo, so it works with both.
It's your boy. I don't know. I think that's different. I think it was just it actually just said crossbones before, and that's why it didn't work before. Because I remember there being like a weird mix up. But I actually do like crossbones too. And so I very much see them as like a run around, shoot and scoot kind of list where they're trying to pump out tons of damage. I just haven't played Sin in a long time. So I just don't know how well they would work in conjunction with each other. But I feel like you want to be using that ability as you're going through here.
Well, I do want to talk about Brock a little bit, but the thing I was going to checking, the part of her leadership that pushes, well, right now it says, object token, but I think it means objective token, but that's source extracts as well. So that means someone who's trying to stand on a source extract, you can push them away and force them to come back to it if they wanted to pick it up, which is useful as well.
Correct. I'm not saying that's what I was trying to say before. I don't think she's useless at source extracts. It just feels like you want to try to double dip where you get the displays and like potentially get two like benefits out of it. I think it would really depend on the shape of the scenario versus who your other leader is versus what you'd be trying to fight. Like if it's like Danites or something, you're like, well, like, do I care about moving more? I just care about blowing them up instead.
She might be good outside of being a leader now, right? Like combined with the fact that both of the Brock Romlos, both crossbones gained a medium move, now means, and I think the second crossbones is just really solid, just being like a 4-2-2 invul hit and run, solid gun, right? And the fact that you can do partners in crime with them, right? So you can dual activate to protect priority. That's not nothing. Like, you could splash that, right?
Yeah. Man, I can't believe you're making me think about this. Like, legitimately think about this.
Ha! Got ya! Pull it.
I am
Get over here!
into Hydraland now.
Yeah,
Right,
get
like
into
we're
the
talking
zone
about
with me.
Zima.
Get into the zone with me, Daddy. We're in the zone.
Would you really have this sort of like, I'm just like pumping out attacks and like running around and just trying to be funny? I was like, that's Red Skull too. You have tons of power. You're just like triggering stuff as you're running around. And I could see the switch up because like going from like, I want to punch super hard and then switching to Cabal, right? Because I don't think there's a lot of crossovers between those two affiliations. As you like Red Skull too, right?
Yeah. I mean, this could be like, I don't think it would be crazy to say that if you want to lean attrition, that maybe you're going, whether you're playing Cabal or Hydra or something else, or Sin is Criminal Syndicate? Actually, they're both Criminal Syndicate, aren't they?
Yes.
So you
They're
could
both
play
criminals,
like...
they're both Cabal. Like, they have the triumvirate of evil, which is Hydra, Criminal Syndicate, and Cabal.
like Shadowlands Daredevil with the ability to steal priority on other turns, and you're like, oh, I killed too many characters this turn. I will all according to plan, right? And then on other turns, you're like, oh, I just killed one, but I want to retain priority, so I'll activate these two together. You know?
This is some, yeah, that'd actually be kind of fun to run around.
Gotcha. Pulling you in.
The reason I've been thinking about
Ensnared.
going down this road is, 'cause I guess I'm going next here as we're kind of going along here, is actually Zola. Zola's a character I've really
Ooh.
hated on for a long time. Because that too physical just
You don't
gets
hate on people very
exploded.
often. You are just not a hater. So
He just dies. Just died. But now, like 7 health on that front side is a lot of health to chew through. And is it scientific method, like his card for adding dice and stuff? There's like several cool targets for that card. So I could see you taking him and not like the fear was always that he just explodes and dies very quickly. And you're like, okay, I'm sad.
Yeah.
Right. Because like, he can't do what he wants to do here. But he can push out conditions. It's range 4, right? He's got like the reroll. He's helping people out. It's like, okay, like he starts to make a little more sense in this world. And he's on a medium base, I think. Like he's a bigger boy.
yeah, he's a medium base.
Yeah. I'm a little sad that he's still a short mover, unlike all the other bigger ones. But he does have like the bubble rerolls. He's a really a pretty long range gun. So like he's sort of picking a lane and then sitting in it for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I was trying to see where my model was. I was like, I remember painting that boy. I was kind of excited about Hydra. Yeah, he's an interesting one. And I think there's already conversations about like OG Cap 1 and like, do you run a couple of the turrets, right? Like, do you want more than Invincible Iron Man? Do you want to run like Shuri or Zola in that sort of package to just like have a lot of free one-off rerolls?
Yes. Yeah, I could see that being interesting now. Right? And you're just using him as a reroll bot and kind of standing around the back, helping out those beams, those explode attacks when I go through.
He is so dusty. He has so much dust. I don't know if you can really like see it in the camera. I actually like looking at him right now. I forgot I liked my paint job on him. I liked how I did the black and red. I totally forgot how I painted this dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually like looks pretty. I'm pretty happy with how my paint job in retrospect. I painted this guy years ago. Just looking at him, I'm like, I kind of want to play. I know there's already a Kang, but he reminds me of Kang from Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? Even though you took down your turtle stuff.
Oh, there's always more turtle stuff. We'll get back to that eventually. I sort of like overload on turtle, like over index, right?
Yeah.
I have the Star Destroyer at the moment. You know, I do have some Star Wars stuff.
So this is kind of off topic, but for the possibility that you visit and we record here in the in-person recording area is mostly Star Wars stuff, but I'm looking at getting some commissioned Marvel artwork to like switch out. Mm-hmm. Like if you come over, we record something Marvel, or I do a guest thing with like Boots or something and we record something Marvel. I was like, I want to be able to easily switch it to Marvel art in the sit down recording area.
Yes.
But
really normalize your experience here. I think Zola and this whole Hydra thing is very interesting, but we're over to you now.
All right. We're halfway through. Danny, am I ready to drop some heat?
Sure. That's usually when we do stuff.
I want to get spicy. I want to talk about OG Hulk.
Okay. We're starting.
Okay. It's not starting. We're in the middle. So change-wise, his throw became terrain only and became range long.
Which is,
yeah. I think a trigger on his spender got easier or automatic. I forget what it was.
He always throws now.
Yeah.
And he gets a stagger on a while. I think he had the stagger a while before.
And then his place effect now costs 4 instead of 3. And he has Peerless. And, Danny, do you want to share your thoughts before I try to be spicy?
Oh man!
Or do you want my spice first and see if I sway you?
See if you sway me. I mean, I want to hear the spice because I know how I feel about this.
Okay, I've heard a lot of people say that this guy is dumpstered. Like, that has been the term that I've seen thrown around a lot, that he is just awful. I don't think that's the case. Like, mind you, I'm not excited to play this character. So I'm going to preface this with, if all 6s are bad, I don't care. But with that said, I still look at this guy and go, okay, so one thing is that I think the power level of 6s is intentionally toned down across the board. That I think AMG felt like 6s were doing too much. It was exceeding what they had envisioned for 6 threats. So there's a new baseline of what a 6 threat does. And with that in mind, he got toned down a bit. So he's not as much of a control character in the sense that you're not throwing people away, but I think a lot of the time that's not going to super matter since your builders and your spender both displace. There's a very reasonable chance that you get to displace someone anyway. So he's got solid displacement potential. And sure, his round 1 is almost certainly worse, right? Best, without help, he's like walk, throw a piece of terrain long, which is not a huge deal. So you could be playing him in something where you're specifically trying to take away cover, which is not like super interesting. Yeah. But he's still, for a 6, he still has a pretty reasonable ability to go first, kill a character, right? 7 dice attack, throw a piece of terrain. Maybe one of those attacks is a spender that also throws them into something, right? And if you do any damage to him, you start still really dialing up this character. And it's, even if you don't do anything the first round, you're like, I walk, I flip a mutant madman, I grab an extract, and then I set myself up to place next turn and start punching stuff. I think that's a little bit more the design space for 6s now. And while I don't think Hulk is going to be top tier, I think dumpstered is just really extreme. Because I feel like there are still going to be games where somebody who likes Hulk is going to put Hulk on the table. And you're going to be playing on fucking Infinity Formula or something. And you just start round 2 or round 3 and Hulk kills a character. And you're like, well, what I have left on that side of the board just cannot deal with Hulk. And I don't know. So I'm just I just don't think he's dumpstered. I don't think he's great, but he's still in that kind of design space where he can still have really extreme round 1 first activation, kills. And you can still build around him and teleport him to the midline with Doggo round 1. I think people who like Hulk are still probably going to get reasonable work out of this guy. Do you think I'm totally out there?
What I am looking at is actually Immortal Hulk, right? What I'm really thinking
we're not talking about Immortal Hulk right now. We're talking about OG Hulk.
Cook here for a second, right?
Okay. Simmer.
I'm just comparing the 6th threat Hulk versus 7th threat Hulk here, and sort of thinking about this profile. They actually have very similar builders, right? Yep. It's basically the difference is push versus throw, range 2, 7 dice. It's Gamma Leap is 3 versus the now 4. Basically same throw. Immortal has a kick throw still, right? But it's a medium throw. So everything else is roughly the same. It's basically how they live and their damage mechanic here. And I think if you're comparing these sort of Hulks, think of a 6th threat and a 7th threat, it makes sense that the 7th threat is here, the 6th threat, they didn't want him to be more efficient than the 7th threat.
Yeah.
That's where I think the comparison is. Does it hurt that his leap is a 4? Yes. But if it wasn't, then round 1, he could leap, walk, punch the midline. With 7 dice, he's got a better than 50% chance to get a wild to push you off the point. So he basically better than coin flip to displace you and potentially get power, and then Hulk's in your face, in which case he just starts going from there if they have priority. They leap again the next round and double punch you. Right? I was potential throws, that feels pretty rough to go into. And that was sort of the issue with Hulk, is that round 1, if they had any extra power, he's being able to jump, walk, punch, and throw is really difficult for a lot of characters to deal with. I remember Hulk would just kill 3 threats. They're I can just kill you. I don't care. Goodbye.
Well, if you take a list you were playing him in Convocation, right? You can't play him quite as much as a control piece the way that you ended up playing him. But Wong can still give him a power. He can walk, hop, punch someone, very possibly throw a piece of terrain at them. Like, he still might kill 3-threat round 1 anyway. And there's still interesting things to do with him. And, like, he still functions as someone wants to play Hulk and wants to punch people in the face. And, like, he's still a character who punishes you for putting work into him and not finishing him, right? If he's got 8 damage on him and he's rolling 9 die builders, right? He gets 1 damage per 4, or is it 5?
For 4.
It's 4. Okay, I was remembering right. Like, that's still a really scary mechanic. And some of the characters who were his greatest nemesis, right? Like Red Skull 2, Black Panther, or King T'Challa, right? They both got toned down a notch. And so, like, the potential to, and like Zemo, characters who really swing above their weight class got toned down. So the ability to just like obliterate him is probably lower than it's ever been.
Yes. I think he's a very, and you also can still round 2 begin the leap, right? You don't have to pick things up round 1. There's other things kind of go around here.
I mean, but he can still interact with a secure and pick up an objective and leap the next turn, right? Like, I just don't think, I think this idea that a 6th threat has to immediately go do something crazy round 1. Like, if you brought 2 3s, are you feeling like they have to do something crazy round 1?
What I think the expectation is that you're paying 6 threat for a model. If they're not doing something round 1, then why wouldn't you take more flexible pieces? I think becomes sort of the conversation.
Well, and right. And I think I think he's more of a niche pick now, where either you build around him because you're really trying to like break a powerful, like powerful might be extreme, but break a high potential first activation. Right?
Yes.
We're already talking about like, oh, if you're going to play Magneto, you're probably going to play something to teleport him around. Is it really that fucking crazy to be like, we'll do something to assist Hulk? Like, he's not just broken by himself. Seems like an absolutely fine spot to be in.
Yeah, I think it's just hard because like costing 4, like a lot of powers that cost 4 generally like kind of amp up and do something pretty cool. So I think it just sort of feels bad, right? I think in terms of his actual kit, like the abilities themselves are fine. Like I said, it's just sad that the leaf is 4 points. But I think in terms of his attacks, I think in terms of pushing damage, I think in terms of like him having activations, like he can have very meaningful activations, right? Like you just can't have like the really goofy turns, right? And he's a little more susceptible to being displaced.
Yeah. He's probably still better than Gladiator, right? Like, they both need 1 power to turn on their kit immediately. I feel like Hulk has a little bit more dependable way of building up his dice. Gladiator's faster, but,
Hulk needs 2 power, right? Because he starts at 2. So he needs to go to 4 to use leap.
Does he? Did he go down to 1? I thought Hulk's plus 2 power, right? So
yeah. So he goes to 2 if he doesn't do anything. He doesn't need another power.
No, what I mean there is, it's so Gladiator needs 1 power to turn on his charge.
Oh,
right?
Yes, okay.
Hulk needs 1 power to turn on the round 1 leap.
Well, no, Hulk needs 2 power because he starts at 2 power. He needs to go to 4 power to leap.
Did they reduce the amount of power that Hulk gets?
No, Gamma Leap is 4 power now.
Right, but he's plus 2 power.
Right, but he goes to 3. For some reason, I went to 2. So yes, it's the same. Sorry,
you started making me think,
totally
did I miss a nerf?
I'm going backwards.
Yeah. My point is that they both need 1 more power to turn on their thing, right? Immediately.
Yes. It actually changes my opinion a bit, right? Because either way, it's just if you can give a character a power, and if you really look at a lot of the characters that they toned down, how they toned them down is by making the charges in the round 1 activations. Like even like Thor 2, where it's still 3 cost for his pounds, all these sort of things.
Exactly.
And it's like, hey, if you want to invest Wong or character or have your leadership give you a power somehow, that's bending the rules in the correct way, right? That's using the game in sort of context you're expecting to. And so like there's no Hulk is automatic include doing things. He is a choice you're making. To your point, you're building a list around, and you can still make him do all the things he did before. So
and you can still play him in Mighty Avengers and be able to hop him around one and potentially be making a 9 dice builder to like start off the Hulk train.
That's sick.
And he's still gonna do like, when you still have a guy who's rolling 7+ dice per attack, like there's just gonna be a reasonable amount of games where Hulk can take over a side of the board. And so just this idea that he's dumpstered, I think is crazy. Like I think he's fine. He's probably like C+, B-, right? Like he's not great, but if someone wanted to build around Hulk, are there going to be just games that you lose to that list because Hulk rolls average to above average right away and just immediately gets that train rolling? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's perfectly in line for 6s, actually. I think it totally makes sense where it would go here. Right? Because, like, again, even the Mortal Hulk, like, you still need a power. Either way, they still need a power to get the whole train going super crazy.
Yeah. And, I mean, he should be slightly worse than a 7.
Yeah.
But, yeah, okay. Anyway, that's probably enough Hulk talk. I just don't think he's terrible, right? Like, he's not my style of character, but I know people locally who would still play Hulk, and I'm probably still going to lose games to that Hulk, because sometimes you don't finish him off. And he gets that last activation rolling a shit ton of dice per attack, and you're like, fuck me. And, that shit's going to happen. But all right.
Makes you very, very sad.
All right, Danny, who do you want to talk about next?
A character, man, it's like hard to talk about one of these characters and not talk about all of them at the same time. We got a little bit of time left. So I want to talk about Web Warriors, but I want to talk about Gwenem.
Okay, let's talk about Gwenem.
Gwenem has a ridiculous amount of health now. Being a 7/8 is insane. Right? Like absolutely insane with spider sense. She has regular spider sense, right? Not the counting mystic or anything, but her whole thing is counterattacking when you attack her friends. Right? She still has the move attack, gets to move afterwards. A very mobile character, can sort of dive in very quickly. She's very much a character if you can give her rerolls. She's out of like Shadowlands, where she's attacking out of activation and getting rerolls and just going like, you're going to die if you start attacking my friends. Like, let's see how that goes down here, like very quickly.
Well, and the more health on characters means that like the revenge attack sort of build, right? The like counterattack builds might be more effective now. Like it'll be interesting to see if that plays out, because obviously they're attacking people who have more health, but there's gonna be more times that characters are left on one, which means that counterattacks matter. And there's more times that you're gonna live through an attack, so you do get to counterattack if they're low. So my gut is that those counterattack abilities gained at least a little bit of value, not like huge, right? But maybe 10%, 15% more value. And that could be the defining, like, I could see a list that has a lot of like counterattacking stuff be good right now.
Yes, I could very much see that, which is I'm going to punish you in your turn or make it dangerous for you to consider attacking me because you have 2 health. I potentially could do 2 health to you very easily. Do you risk killing yourself, or do you go for a safer option, defending another point and backing off? Or you're attacking characters, like, do you risk me attacking you and just killing you, right, before you have the opportunity to pick something up? So, like, it's just like, it puts her at a very interesting point. I think the extra health just puts her at a point where she can threaten for longer. Because like some people are like, oh, well, she has a low amount of health. I'll just kill her first, and then I'll just deal with everyone else and go from there. Like now, like it's very unlikely you'll blow up 8 health. Even if you flip her, 8 health is a lot of health.
Yes,
it's a lot.
I think there's going to be a lot of times where you're just like, so this is kind of off topic, but I was kind of thinking about if AMG wanted less situations where models leave the table, I'm kind of surprised that we didn't see more characters with like maybe like slightly more extreme health on the flip side.
Yeah.
Where it's like, all right, we're going to make it so you can stop people from having like healthy contesting, right? And like make them drop objectives right away. But maybe you make like, maybe to a certain extent, they kind of did this with Captain America. 7 health count blanks is kind of like fucking immortal.
Colossus thing. She's like,
but
I don't want to deal with this.
But I'm kind of surprised there wouldn't necessarily be like a few more characters where like this is just a character who is kind of designed to not really leave the board or like take too much work to like leave the board. But
That's why I'm a little sad about Luke Cage. Like, I don't understand. Like, of all characters who I thought would be like 6'6", just standing there, live forever, I was like, not Luke. Like, that's his whole gimmick.
No. I think he's still tanky for a 3, which I think is something that I think we'll maybe like get to in the next episode that we do. But talking about characters who didn't change and
how they work,
like maybe that is just next week's episode. We talk about characters who didn't change and how we think they fare if we like can approach it objectively. But all right, I feel like I can't remember because I wanted to talk about Spider-Woman last week, but I think we didn't get to her, right?
We did not talk about her.
Okay. You and I are both Spider-Woman lovers.
Yeah.
Right? We've got a spender that makes people drop extracts. We've got a long mover with stealth and martial arts, and she is now 7/7 health. No other changes, but she's fucking 7/7 health.
I would already dive people's extracts with her and just stand for. I was like, you probably can't kill her. I was like, yeah. Now it's like, you're going to attack me. If you hit me, I get to fall back and then run away. I'm like, it's fine. I'm not worried about you killing me.
Well, and you think about like, if you do dive someone's extract and say she does die, she wakes up, she spenders them, they drop the extract, she picks it up, she teleports away and then walks long.
Yep.
Right? Like,
I'm out of here.
She's she's a million miles away, with stealth. Right. We both like, you remember our WTC team? She was like the most fought over character.
She's a very, very fun character. And the stealth, like sort of ninja assassin characters, where she fits the stealth martial artist crew, is just like a very fun, they get more health, they become way more fun. In terms of like fighting the knife fight range, because like 7 health with counting blanks is very difficult to get rid of. Like if she's holding an extract and standing on a point and like standing on the backside of a point, it's like, well, you can't shoot her. You got to come into her. If you're coming into her, she's like, that's fine.
She's Shield, right? She's Shield and Hydra.
Yeah.
So you could play her under the Nick Fury leadership, where you're like, oh, I attack you, and then I aggressive into range of martial artist. If you're trying to attack me again. I definitely want to play her. In general, I liked her kit. I don't think she's like, she doesn't have these crazy explosive turns, right? Because she just doesn't have innately good averages offensively.
No. 5 dice is like the Sif problem, right? You just like can't rely on it.
But any character who stuns before damage.
Yes.
Right? If she does spike, if she walks, which is not crazy, there's a lot of midline stuff. If she walks, range 3 attacks, spikes and has a wild, she gets to stun them before damage and be like, you get 1 power, I get 4. And so like, she creates those situations when the MCP dice happen in your favor. She can like win you the game herself.
And she's a for each wild character, so she can like give you multiple conditions at the same time, which is really annoying to do.
That was actually funny because my first game with Apocalypse, she walked up, attacked Apocalypse, and rolled like 3 wilds and had to give me bleed, or she had to give me one of the things that I was immune to.
Yeah,
because she rolled so many wilds. I just thought that was funny. Like, why did you have to roll that many wilds right now? I think she's cool. I think I want to put her on the table again. I feel like she's in so many affiliations. I can't imagine she doesn't have a reasonable place right now.
For sure. I can see that.
All right. Who do you want to talk about, Danny?
This is a character I genuinely don't know if they have a place, right? And it's someone I love very dearly, and so it makes me so sad. And it's Moon Knight. He went to 6/6, right? Which is not bad. But there's just so many other web warriors now in that 3-threat slot. You're like, are you really taking Moon Knight? In this situation, like, the one thing he has over the other web warriors is that he has a mystic attack, right? His spender is a good spender. Gets displays, it's a bunch of mystic dice. The multiple personalities can be very good, because you get like the free move round 1. So you get to like run around, basically a safe grab. It's just after he either needs to grab something or he has to fight his way into something. The problem is Sparta Noir exists.
Yes.
And is like the same exact, like, I also want to fight and be in there, except I have more dice consistently if I keep attacking the same character and have a damage reduction and a very similar defensive profile. And that's where I find it hard. Like, they gave him a health bump to Moon Knight, and I'm like, I don't know if it actually does anything for him.
Right. And like, he's a character that I always like want to play in Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
But like, it frustrates me because in Midnight Suns, I really like playing either the slightly faster characters, right? Medium base, medium move, or long mover. And I don't think it would be crazy for him to be a long mover. And I think that would like really add something to his kit. Cause I don't think his fundamental kit is problematic. I like what it does. He's just someone that I kind of feel like he could be like Viper and stuff and just be a long mover and be like, that's his shtick, you know? And I look at it, there's nothing wrong with Moon Knight. There's nothing like negative, but I'm like, I don't know when or where Moon Knight would make a list for me.
Yeah, and that's my issue with the character. It makes me sad of all these changes, like seeing a character that I personally love, getting a change that just puts him in a place where it's like, but why am I taking them?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what am I really doing with this character that I couldn't do with another character besides just, I like this character a lot. And that makes me a little sad, right? I played a lot of Moon Knight when I played Webs for a long, long time.
Okay. We kind of talked about this character earlier, but I want to officially talk about them. Yes. I want to talk about Crossbones' Merciless Mercenary, the Crossbones 2. Is that, did I remember his name correctly? I'm going to be very proud of myself.
The second one's name. The cool gun.
So, first off, I just want to say, whoever at AMG finally like made the pitch or whatever, like, hey, we got to not have these short move small base characters. Mm-hmm. They just don't function in the game. Whoever finally got that across, you're my fucking hero. Cause like that profile just didn't need to exist. It wasn't fun. It's not interesting. It didn't bring value. And there wasn't any justification for Crossbones being unnecessarily slow. And the overall kit on Crossbones 2 is very cool with an incinerate gun, hit and run, invulnerability, and like what he potentially brings now as like like he's not crazy, right? He's not suddenly broken. He's just playable. And so now that his math just works for getting to objectives reasonably well, I think it opens up the Sin Crossbones package for a lot of potential builds. It makes all of the Cabal and Hydra stuff like way more appealing now that you go, oh, I just have a solid 3. And I think the Core Set 2 sculpt for him is very cool. Like I had never put it together, and now I'm excited to put it together and paint it because I think I would have fun playing this character.
I'm thinking of like this core, right? Because essentially we'd be arguing for is like Sin Crossbones and pick a leader. Either Sin's your leader or you're picking another leader, right? Like to make this
Zemo 2, baby.
I genuinely
Shadowlands Daredevil. Yeah. Who doesn't want another tactics card and discount when you play tactics cards?
Oh man! I mean, is it finally take the multiple heads thing, the multiple leaders? And you finally take the same, but the leader has to die, just like a bunch of things. Make it so goofy. I do like Crossbones too. I like the aggressive having a beam 3. So if you attack him, he potentially gets into better beam range. He's got hit and run. Yeah. So he's really just angling around the board. I like 6 health. Like he's 6'5" with damage reduction, which is a very solid. That's the Luke Cage profile, right? So running around, bang bang, with the gun. Very fun. Like the spender has a throw, I think, on it. I think it's only like size 2s, but he can basically get in the scrum and start punching around people and everything.
Yeah.
And then I think you're taking like big hitters for if you're taking Sin and Crossbone and your leader, you're sort of taking like bigger pieces and running around and doing some fun stuff. I could absolutely see that. Because there's a lot of
you could do
leaders. A lot of fourth threat leaders actually.
You could also do Malekith with Sin Crossbones led Cabal, right?
Yes.
And then you splash like a 4. You could do like Nick Fury or a lot of different things and just go like, I'm gonna try to, do crazy shit with Malekith still, and have like a whole better core backbone of Cabal options to play behind him. Could totally be viable.
Crossbones be moving around constantly and be beaming at that point. It's like you shoot him, I kill someone, I hit and run. Like either way, he's just running around the whole board, bang bang the whole time, which I think is very good. What I was thinking of when you said that actually was Shadowlands, because the beam getting rerolls, being able to the shifting around your priorities very good, being able to play cards because they're criminals, they can pay for it.
Yep.
I could see Crossbones generating a lot of power from the beam and just triggering it so many times and being able to like, I can just pay for stuff. I don't care. I don't even need power. You're like, sure, man. Like, let's go for it.
Yeah, he'll build up power. He's like, I'll pay for all according to plan. Yeah. I think there's like a really exciting build where you could be like Sin Cabal and you go wide, right? This was a thing way back in the day, but you could still do Sin, Zemo, Crossbones, and Bullseye. And have like a pretty effective damage dealing core of 11 and then build on it with other 3s and be playing 6 wide at, at 17 and just having a like good effective. Yeah.
Is actually play criminals and play Hood. So I can play Hood's gang.
Ooh.
Or I get an Iron Man to get Stark Armory, right? Because like really what you want to do in this situation is like lay on the extra dice and the rerolls. Be like, I'm gonna have 3 threats punching like 4 threats, right? You're in scared territory now.
Stark Armory is not activation, right?
I don't think so.
I think it's a power phase or start of activation phase
I'm pretty
card.
sure it's power phase.
So you could play OG Iron Man in
It works perfectly fine, yeah.
Shadowlands Daredevil list and is like totally fine with that. He loves a reroll to just help him fish for the wilds and such.
It is power phase. Right?
Yeah.
So like that's
you
great.
play that in the power phase and you just get to like, especially if you just like add a die to 4 Sin attacks, right? And then the crossbone attacks, right? Because you could chain them, right? Because they just go, oh, well, now the next one
bang, 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 bang. You start blowing things up very quickly. And I think people start becoming scared of 3 threats. Like the thing I see about 3 threats right now is they have enough of a defensive profile to not immediately explode. And so you're looking for 3 threats that you can enable, right? To do weird stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think that there could be something here with this. And like, it's not one of my first things that I want to try out, but I would like to paint Crossbones and, Crossbones, Merciless Mercenary. And like try out this list. I think I was happy with how my Sin turned out. I might touch up her base, but, I could definitely see me trying this list at some point. Danny, let's do another one. What do you think? Who's on top of your brain?
Well, there's sort of a slight add-on to what I was, I guess, an addendum, right? And thinking about this is that, in thinking about webs, we were talking about USM last week, how I think he's amazing. Mm-hmm. But then there's like the question about regular.
Don't you think he's ultimate?
Yes, he is the ultimate.
Got ya. Gotcha.
But it really makes me come back to regular Miles, right? And then thinking about him and where it happens, right? And what's going on. And it's like, I don't feel bad necessarily for regular Miles. It just seems like there's so many cool models and it's hard not to want to take Ultimate Miles, right? Like, it's just hard.
I think they want us to take Ultimate Miles. Right, like they kind of want
very
us
cool.
to.
Like he's a very cool model. He's like, hey, come on, guys, like, he's a good guy, right? You're like, yeah.
Can we have Miles leadership like on Gwen or something, or on put it on Spider-Man Noir, And yes, then I'm all about playing Ultimate
So
Miles.
my note here is that I'm sad for Miles 1, right? Where I think Miles 1 sort of just gets slightly pushed out of Web Warriors as a leader, because you basically are sort of, I think a lot of time the Spider-Verse leadership is a very solid leadership, especially if you want to go in, fight, do things. And I actually really like ASM's leadership right now. There's a lot more sources, especially with Ultimate, because Ultimate has a way of putting out slows. You have multiple ways of putting out slows naturally, which means you're constantly displacing characters, which puts people in very bad positions, especially the fact that it's sizeless. It's just, you are slowed. You're displaced. Like, yep, goodbye. I don't want to talk to you. And I think in this new world, being able to just displace models is more valuable than the steals. Like, it's more about just completely dominating auto secures. The fact that you can score bonus points, the fact you can turn things around to like change shapes on some of them, like it just, they're more alive now. And I think you just play defensively on the extracts and just focus on like, well, I'm not trying to push the fight. I'm just trying to beat up a character or two to steal an extract and just keep running away and displacing the rest of the team.
Yeah. Yeah, are we talking about Miles or are we talking about ASM? Like, which one are we actually talking about right now?
Oh, I'm saying ASM is amazing right now in the situation.
Yeah.
I said I'm sad for Miles, and I don't know where he fits in the situation. Like, I just don't know where you're taking regular Miles. And because like I think just the pure steal plan is really hard to depend on right now. Like, it's hard to generate enough power. It's hard for web warriors to be punching enough to be going through there.
You're
And
also
then
going to play on sources like half the time, you know.
Like, it's just not a good time for the non-fighting web warriors right now.
Yeah.
Or having some way to like just generate or do things and do cool tricks and stuff. And so I'm personally sad that the era of Miles 1 may actually be over. Even though I personally love the guy. But I think it really opens up a lot of options for web warriors in general.
I want you to know, Danny, when I
about.
went to see the new Spider-Man movie, I did wear my Miles Morales shirt. I was
He's a cool guy.
I was representing. Yeah, I do think ASM is going to be fun to play. There's just something about like him being at a 6/6 before was like right in this like scary territory where like your dice have to not fail you.
Yes.
7/7 gives you some breathing room
A god
for the dice to not always be in your favor. And like, especially after watching the new Spider-Man movie, like more than ever did I want to play a character. Like, you know me, I'm the guy who's like, I don't mind Storm being a 3 because I just get to put her on the table more. I don't need that power fantasy of Storm feeling like the chick who fucking wrecks a whole army because she's Omega level. But like after the last Spider-Man movie, that was one of the first times that I walked out of a movie and I was like, I want the Spider-Man power fantasy. I want to not play Spectacular Spider-Man. I want to play ASM and like feel like I'm playing the Spider-Man who fucking saves the day by himself. And it was cool that like shortly after that we got a little ASM buff. I was like, I probably got to do this at some point.
Yeah, I just think the nature of webs is going to change, right? And how they sort of accomplish their goals, and you can't just be very passive and hope things work out for you.
There's a lot of solid displacement characters. I mean, I'm a little sad they didn't at least give like Miles like a health on the back. That's just like harder to remove him from leaving the table. Like, I get him not having health on the front.
Yeah. I thought he was going to be like a 6/5, honestly. But I didn't think 6/6, but it's hard for him being a 5/5. He's just like in that weird place. I was like, well, you still can't really send him in, like to die, because he doesn't really have the profile for that. You're then kind of sitting around, you just have the defense rerolls, because you're either depending on everyone else to fight for you, and Miles kind of hangs around, so you grab something early, or you're taking Miles out of affiliation. But I feel like if you have the power to give someone the ability to give someone extra power, you would probably want to take USM, because long move web swing is a ridiculous opening, right? It's ridiculous.
Well, and a 4 threat who's swinging for like 7 dice, like Ultimate Miles is rad. Like Ultimate Miles is very rad.
It's just it's like hard to deal with the guy. Then he's like slowing potentially. He's like moving around. You're like, I don't want to deal with this guy, right? You're like, yeah, no one wants to deal with him. You fight him, he starts punching you back. You're like, I just can't with this guy.
More counterattack shenanigans. Yeah. Like we were already talking about that. So yeah, I like it. Any chance that you play Ultimate Miles in your Asgard? Because like I know there's some discussion. We talked about it a little bit last week about like Jane's explosions, Miles's explosions. Just like spreading damage around.
The problem is I don't think the leaderships work for Miles. Right? He doesn't. They are spend power leaderships, or they're like, I'm diving in with Jane. Where Miles really wants that free power or something like he's getting out of it versus like he needs to be generating power naturally because he's very power star. Like he wants to be spending his power, like doing cool tricks and everything. And Fury is just incredibly good, like being able to grab 2 extracts and like the guns and Eye of the Sky. Like he just does a lot. You're right. He just does a lot for the list where he's 1, grabbing extracts and defending them, but 2, Eye in the Sky is the card everyone forgets about. Like, oh, you're Asgard. I'm like, yeah, but I can save them a different way too.
Or reposition is really fucking good when you don't want to play Eye in the Sky and just being able to get him hop to the grunts and you just like kill something that people don't expect.
I actually have a spot like a 10th card slot. I might take reposition because it is actually a very fun card when you can pull it off.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it
just teleporting away. It's like
not in shield.
He's gone
because it doesn't drop extracts, so you can leave with extracts, or you can teleport hunt something down. So good.
Because you have I have prio, be able to grab stuff and get really annoying, be really funny.
Yeah. All right, my dude. I think we should probably call it there. Do you think we had any spicy? Do you think my Hulk position was the most hate inducing that we will get the hates on the?
So fighters to lovers, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, first read, I was with everybody and I was like, Hulk sucks. Good. Yeah. But the more I thought about it, I was like, his fundamental like mid to late game is just as good as it was before, like for the most part. Like, and I was like,
part of why they made it a 4 is so that they wouldn't have the Steve 1, right? Because if he had 3 power, it cost 3, he could still get it off. Effectively go 3, that stops it from happening.
Yeah. All right. Well,
he's a cool boy. Yeah, I really like him.
But he can't move, throw.
That he cannot.
Well, not people. He can throw terrain. But, you guys know what we're saying. You know what we're saying.
I mean, I guess
later, nerds.
Move and then try to... No, you can't throw people. So I guess it's really just terrain. So I guess you're right. Now it's later, nerds.
What would you prefer? Yellow spandex